They say life is short, and for the most part, I feel like that's true. I'll be 60 at the end of this year. Not sure how that happened so fast. I retired 9 months ago. Retirement has given me a lot of time to think. When I think back to when I was a kid, it feels like it was just a couple years ago. That old Beatles song keeps popping in my head. You and I have memories longer than the road that stretches out ahead. My 50s went by in the blink of an eye. It seems like every decade goes faster than the last one. It's surprising how quickly you arrive at old age. I don't feel old, but 60 sounds old to me. I went to my 40th high school reunion last summer. I didn't recognize a lot of the people. I felt like I was in a room full of old people I didn't know. 26 people from my high school class of 1984 have died. These are people I knew. This is just crazy to me. Most of us have regrets, but mine are really pretty minor. Regret doesn't really help anyone. It's good to reflect on your mistakes and learn from them, but it's not good spending too much time regretting things you can't change. Knowing what I know now, I probably wouldn't make the same mistakes again, but I'd probably make new ones. You can't escape regret. All you can do is try not to dwell on it. I'm trying not to have regrets going forward because time is so precious. But here's my 3 biggest life regrets that I came up with. Number 1, I wish I hadn't spent money on material things that weren't of real value when I was younger. I wish I had saved and invested that money for retirement instead. I bet a lot of people my age have that same regret. I could have retired sooner and with more money. I could have had more time doing the things I love, working on my hobbies and activities and projects, and spending time with my family. I wish I could go back and tell my younger self not to buy all those shoes that I never ended up wearing, or that fitness equipment that just sat around and collected dust. I would tell myself instead to invest that money, but when I was 40, I really wasn't thinking much about retirement. If you're 40 and watching this, put that gadget back on the shelf and open an investment account. If you just invest $1,000 when you're 40 and say it makes 8% gains, it could turn into $4,660 by the time you're 60. And that's just $1,000. Imagine if you did that every year instead of buying stuff you never use. I wish I'd saved and invested at a younger age. The older I get, the more I realize how precious time is and how unimportant things are. Number 2, I wish I had paid more attention to my parents and grandparents when they had told me stories about their lives. Now I would give anything to hear those stories. I wish I had written it down because it's starting to fade. I wish I had written down their stories and their history. There's all sorts of things I wish I'd asked them. Now that they're gone, there's no one to ask about my family history. A whole generation, a whole way of life that I knew, places and people are just gone. Talk to the older people in your family. Get all of the stories that you can. Record them, write them down, or whatever. Just capture those memories while you can. Someday, you'll want to know about your history. If you're older, write down or record your own stories. It doesn't matter if you think it's important or how you do it. Just do it. I've been making photo books online, documenting my family history and my life. I want my grandkids to remember how much I love them and who I was when I'm gone. My oldest granddaughter is 7. I was talking with her the other day about something special we did about a year ago, and she doesn't remember it. I want them to know I was there for every birthday, every holiday, and all the little things in between. I want them to know I participated in their lives. I wish I had more pictures of myself with my parents and my grandparents. So take lots of pictures. Number 3, I wish I hadn't spent so much time being a people pleaser when I was younger. As a young kid, I remember my number 1 goal was to be liked. I wanted to make sure everyone around me was happy. Up until my 40s or even later, I was a people pleaser. Saying no felt uncomfortable or even selfish. I worried that saying no would disappoint people or create tension. I never really stood up for myself, and I didn't have boundaries. We live in a culture of wanting other people to like us. We want the approval of others, and we have a fear of rejection. We want to be liked and told we're valuable. But people-pleasing can leave you drained and overwhelmed. It's not good for our mental health or our relationships. Growing older, I've gained this perspective and been able to see beyond my insecurities. If there's any real regret, it's just that it took me so long to learn how to speak my mind with confidence and not worry about what other people think. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. It took me a long time to figure this out, probably longer than most. Here's some perspective. 35 years ago, I was in college. It doesn't seem like that long ago. And 35 years from now, I'd be almost 95. More likely, I'll be gone. Looking back on life, there isn't a lot that I would change. Because all the stupid stuff and all the good times have combined to make me who I am today. I lived through being young and doing stupid things, but it made me who I am now. I'm finally satisfied with who I am and where I am in life. I'm not rich, but I'm happy and healthy, and I love my life. I still have a couple good decades left in me. I've learned to look past the mistakes I've made. There's nothing you can do to change the past. If you have regrets, try to come to terms with those regrets. It's excess baggage that you drag around with you through your life. We often regret the things we didn't do more than the things we did do. If you have something you want to do, go do it now. Life is short. There's a Dr. Seuss poem that says, "How did it get so late so soon?" I've always loved that poem. So have experiences. Experiences are worth so much more than money or things. Go live life to the fullest and pay no attention to people who attempt to dull your shine. I've made a lot of mistakes, and there's lots of things I could have done better, but I think I've learned from them. There's a book I love by Mark Manson. You've probably heard of it and maybe even read it. I'm not going to say the title out loud in case it offends anyone, but if you haven't read this book, it's really good. I highly recommend it. It's about how to become better, happier people. He explains that we're flawed and we should get to know our limitations and accept them. It's a good one. I saw that there's a movie out about this now, and I haven't seen it yet, but it's on my list. What about you? Do you have regrets? If you want to share, feel free to leave a comment. If you haven't seen me before, hi, I'm Julie, and this channel's Happy on Monday. Thanks for joining me. If you found this helpful, please like. And if you're interested in early retirement, consider subscribing. I'm going to leave you with a quote by L. Ron Hubbard. Never regret yesterday. Life is in you today, and you make your tomorrow. Hope to see you again soon.